Namaskar. Today we have with us an internationally acclaimed writer, a prolific storyteller and a celebrated public relation professional, Mr. Ramendra Kumar. Mr. Ramendra Kumar has recently opted for voluntary retirement from the Maharatna Company SAIL Rourkela steel plant, where he worked for 32 years. In his 32 years of experience in the public relation department of RSP, he headed the department for 9 years. Mr. Kumar is also the chairman of the Rourkela chapter of the Public Relation Council of India. Today we are going to have a conversation with him regarding his personal and professional journey as well as his aspiration and passion. Sir, you are a BTech in civil engineering, a gold medalist in marketing. How did PR happen?
Well, I joined as a management training administration, and the then COC, he had come to take a session. So there he was kind of impressed with my speaking and writing abilities. So he thought PR was ideal for me. In the placement interview, I had topped, but no one even asked me whether I would like PR or some other function, and they posted me in PR. And thank God they posted me in PR, because if I had had to spend 32 years in any other function like personnel or town services or marketing, I would have been bored. But PR is a happening function, it's a great profession, and no day is like any other day. So I've really enjoyed my journey.
So what are some memorable moments of your 32-year-long experience in PR?
Yeah, it's been a very, very momentous journey. It's like walking on the razor's edge sometimes. It's like walking or rather climbing the mountain on stilts, or managing the tsunami in a paddle boat. It can be really, really tough, but at the same time very, very rewarding, enriching and fulfilling. The moment or the experience which is on the top of my list is the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister on 1st April 2015. So we got only 6 days. Normally an event like this should give us 6 months or at least a month. 6 days, and we have to select an event management agency where PR was again fully involved, manage the media, and more importantly or more precariously manage the various stakeholders and their demands, like the politicians, like the bureaucrats, like the Chamber of Commerce and so many others. So it was a humongous task by any stretch of imagination. Can you believe that 150 media persons from across the state and beyond descended on Rourkela, and we had to manage them. And on top of that, there were many other issues which were coming every minute. We had to be on our feet every second. You were a part of the team, so you can recollect that there were situations where we could not have imagined interference from that particular source, but we did, and we had to somehow or the other either circumvent it, avoid it at our own peril, and we did that. There was an occasion when a person owing allegiance to a particular political party, he walked in, and in the specific stance of Vijay Dinanath Chauhan in the movie Agnipath, he started accusing me of mismanaging the stuff, of neglecting the media, of neglecting the politicians and all. Then I was really thankful that my experience with my mother-in-law had taught me patience. Otherwise I would have just lost it. And these moments were myriad. But when we saw the coverage the next day in almost all the print media, electronic media and social media, it was really, really a fulfilling experience. And the bar we set, the benchmark we set, became a kind of a a lodestar for every other organization in SAIL where the Prime Minister subsequently visited. And on a lesser scale, if I tell you that from 2011 I was COC for a period of 9 years. That again is to use a cliche, a crown of thorns. And it's a 24/7 job, and in an organization like Rourkela Steel Plant with a captive township, anything and everything can go wrong. So it has, that again was a extremely traumatic experience in some cases, an enriching one in the other, but I'll never ever forget these 9 years because they have added so much of value to my life, made me far more mature than I would otherwise have been had I been in some kind of a staid profession, in a staid post. Then another good experience was, great experience was going to China in 1995. China was just opening up. So everybody was curious to know, and I, being a writer, I looked for stories and found a lot of stories there. And in fact, just to quote one particular incident, that we were hungry for Indian food. We had to almost roam around for 2.5 hours when we got a restaurant where I had kadi chawal, which in today's terms cost me around 7,500 rupees. But I can't tell you how much I relished. It was great fun, and it was such a proud moment to represent SAIL and the Indian steel industry in that international metals fair in Beijing in 1995.
You must be very junior.
Yeah, I was very, very junior. I would have been, I think, not even a deputy manager, but I was selected by the top management, and it was a proud moment for me.
Thank you, sir. So recently you were conferred with the very prestigious Hall of Fame award by PRCI, the Public Relations Council of India. It's like a lifetime achievement award.
True.
So how was the feeling when you received it?
It was great. It was absolutely high point of my life, because to be recognized by your own professionals, that high cannot be compared with anything else. The media might sometimes tell you that you're good, your peers might tell you, your seniors, your juniors, but when your fellow professionals across the country, they tell that, okay, you've done it, then it's a great, great moment. And I'm thankful to Mr. B. Jairam, who is the chief mentor of PRCI, for finding me suitable for this kind of a honor.
How important is the role of a body like PRCI in enhancing professionalism?
I think it's extremely, extremely important, and PRCI is doing a wonderful job, because what they are doing is they are giving recognition to the profession. PR profession has been so confused with so many other random jobs, like we have been labeled as errand boys and people who are the image makers, people who do some denting and shenting and all that. Yeah, spin doctors, exactly. And then some who apply cosmetic touches and all. But our profession as communicators, as creators of a kind of a brand, that has never really got its due. PRCI is doing that by creating awareness in the organizations, in the institutions. It is finally giving us our place. And if PRCI continues like this, which I'm sure it would, I'm confident that after 5 to 10 years, nobody would say that PR is, just some kind of a profession which has really no boundaries and anything. It is like the dustbin of duties, PR is not a dustbin of duties, and PRCI is moving towards that, to shatter that image, to shatter that myth that yes, PR is a profession and it needs to be acknowledged as a profession, in fact as one of the foremost professions.
Yes, sir. Very true. And PRCI is doing a great job in spreading this awareness, basically, and giving the job its recognition that it is due.
Its true worth.
Yes. Sir, you are considered as a very popular and effective leader. What is your leadership mantra?
If I tell you my leadership mantra, you would think that I am bordering on the insane. Like, normally people talk about management by objectives, then they talk about management by intensity. Sounds nice, My mantra is management by masti, because I feel that the strongest lines which connect one individual to the other are the lifelines. So if a department is happy, if it's bubbling with joy and effervescence and enthusiasm, it will produce results. And that I feel I have managed to achieve to a large extent by creating that ambience of fun and joy. And when you are able to do that, then work is no more work. It's just fun. The second thing is, like I had just mentioned, that the boundaries of PR are very porous. So I feel that I am very ferociously possessive about my department. And in my 9 years as COC, I made sure that other things are not dumped, which is not our job. We should not do it simply because somebody has told. I would argue with the top management, I would argue with my peers, and I would make sure that those boundaries, those sacred boundaries, are protected. If you ask my seniors and colleagues to rate me, I do not know how much they would. But if you ask my juniors and my colleagues in the department to rate me, I am 100% sure I'll get a thumbs up.
I can vouch for that. Sir, you have written 38 books in different genres, right? From children's literature, satire, poetry. So what is your most favorite genre and why?
It's undoubtedly children's fiction, because I think the world of children is the best, pure, unadulterated, innocent, full of masti and joy. And when I write, I'm in that sphere, in that space. Archana, I have gone to a couple of many storytelling sessions, usually for a writer turned storyteller. I'm not a storyteller by birth or by experience. I became a storyteller much later than I started writing. So most storytellers, writers turned storytellers, want 50, 60, 70 an audience of that size. Beyond that, they are not able to manage. Once in Abu Dhabi recently, I walked into a school. It was 5 basketball stadiums and full of kids. 1100 screaming, shouting, jumping children. I had to engage them for 1 hour. My wife Madhvi was with me and she almost had a concussion. That how are you going to manage? I told her, just watch. Then along with that 1100 children, 1 more kid was added. And that kid enjoyed with those 1100.
That is Ramendra Kumar.
That's Ramendra Kumar, enjoyed with those 1100, and we all had a blast. So that's why I love writing for children.
Sir, who are your role models?
I have only one role model, and that's my father, because whatever I am today is because of him. My mother left us when I was just 14, so he was a single parent after that, and he taught me the values, gave me the confidence, and even now he's right up there looking at me and hopefully forgiving me for my sins and laughing at my antics and loving me as ever. He's my hero, he's my icon, he's my God forever and ever.
Sir, what would be the name of your autobiography?
I think, let me see, I think I should have 3 autobiographies, or rather 3 names of my autobiography, sorry. The first I would say is Pyar Kiya To Darna Kya. Second would be A Rebel Without a Pause. Third would be Badtameez Dil, because I have been a victim of Badtameez Dil most of my life.
If there is a movie called Badtameez Dil, who you would want to be the hero? I mean, who would you want to be from the current generation of actors play the role of Ramendra Kumar?
Yeah, the current generation, of course. Had you said that any other hero, I would have said I would have liked to play the role. But yes, it would be Ranbir Kapoor. For the simple reason that I have danced to his song Badtameez Dil I've been dancing for the last 6-7 years. And second thing is, his grandpa and my father look like twins. Raj Kapoor and my dad.
He is also RK.
He's also RK. Ramkumar Khandelwal.
Ramkumar Khandelwal, yeah. Right. And who will play the role of Madhvi Kumar?
Madhvi Kumar in the current generation, Alia.
Alia Bhatt.
I think she's a great actress. Otherwise, Madhuri Dixit.
ए दोस्ती हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे, रियल लाइफ में किसके साथ गाना चाहेंगे?
Definitely my son. He is my best friend. Usually a person with my kind of ego wouldn't like to go to anybody and say that I have a problem. But I have gone to him on a number of occasions, and he has connected with me like very few people can of that age,
He's too young.
You don't have to be, maturity or common sense is not related to the age. He's got loads of common sense, and he understands me in that sense more than anybody else.
So, what is your worst fear?
My worst fear is that my sweetheart of 34 years and wife of 32 years would not be there when I wake up. She would have left me and gone somewhere. That's my worst fear. She's my anchor. I can't survive without her. I don't go to her with my problems of the head, but she holds my heart.
What do you love about yourself?
One thing. No, this is cruel.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sadistic. What I like about myself, my looks, my ability to dance, my ability to connect with children of all ages, and most of all, my wit. I think my wit is my greatest weapon so far. Weapon in a positive sense.
So, your looks means also how you dress, because I think you have a wardrobe of 500 shirts.
Hardly. That's a misnomer completely. I have a wardrobe of less than half, right? And it's only because of my extremely striking personality, it looks like I'm wearing a different shirt every time.
Passenger or driver?
In the car, I would say passenger. In life, absolutely the driver.
You want to be the anchor of your life.
Yeah, I want to be the anchor of my life and my family.
What makes you feel old? I know you are 25, but still.
No, I don't feel old at all. Nothing makes me feel old. Because I feel that the day I start feeling old, I'll start being old. And that will be the last day of my life. It's my aspiration that as long as I live like this, like a person who's young at heart, a person who can connect with children, and who can enjoy life in the present moment.
So for you, age is just a number?
Yeah, absolutely. Below 30 always.
What is the cheesy song you love most, apart from Badtamizil?
That's not a cheesy song, that's poetry. गोवा वाले बीच पे दोनों आंखें मीच के ठंडी ठंडी बियर पिएंगे दोनों फोटो खींच के. Absolutely cheesy, sickening lyrics, but it's got a very beautiful beat to dance.
That's great.
And I've just attended a dance on this.
Which complex fictional character intrigues you?
This is not very complex. There's a character called P. Smith, P being silent as in pneumonia, created by P.G. Woodhouse. And he's a guy who's extremely good in conversations. He's got great language, gift of the gab. He can convince anybody to do anything. And he's very cool and calm. So my first girlfriend had told me that I am like Smith. Since then I have been trying to live up to that image. So he's my favorite character.
First girlfriend means what was the age?
I was, I think, 17 and she was 14.
What is the common perception of your friends about you that is completely untrue?
I'm sane.
So you are insane?
Absolutely. Unambiguously, unapologetically.
What is the moment, or what are the moments that you want to relive?
There are many moments. The first and foremost would be the time which I spent with my father. He was not a great storyteller, but he would try very hard. And he would do, it was so unconditional, I cannot even explain to you, that in small, simple, sweet ways, he was with me throughout, wherever I was. Physically, emotionally, the head, the heart, everything was with me. So those moments I would like to relive again and again and again. Second is when I was dating my girlfriend and future wife, Madhavi, that the time when I did that, unleashed my flirtatious nature on her, and the way very hesitatingly, suspiciously she responded. And then when I proposed to her, and her very bubbly kind of reply, and then those jhappies and puppies and those caresses and beyond. I would like to relive them again and again. And the third part is with my children, those storytelling sessions, like rain-drenched evenings, then summer twilights, those cold winter nights. We would sit together, me and the two of them, and get completely lost in the world of magic, of fantasy, of humor, of fun, of masti. Those moments I can never forget. And surprisingly, even the kids cannot. They still, whenever they see a movie or they listen to a song, it's some way it all comes back. कि पापा तुमने ऐसे किया था, हम ऐसे कर रहे थे.
Right, very precious moments.
Absolutely.
If you are given rupees 10 crore, what you would like to do with that?
I don't know whether you would believe this or not, but I would like to set up centers across the country for the girl child who has become a victim of circumstances. The girl who's been orphaned, who's been molested, who's been raped, who's been subjugated, who's been tortured. I would set up these centers which would help them stand on their own feet. They should not be financially dependent on any man, right? Because I did some research and wrote a book of fiction based on facts on these kind of children. So I think nobody deserves, no child of God deserves this kind of treatment, So I would like to set up these centers and make them independent and let them fly, not chain them. Let them fly, soar and achieve their dreams. That's what I would like to do.
Define happiness.
Happiness is a number of things, but there is a concept in Denmark called hygge. It is written as Hygge. I would request the viewers to check it out. It is pronounced as hygge. It means a coziness of the soul. It means finding pleasure, joy in small things. It means, an old woman is sitting and you can make her smile. A child is crying, you can wipe away their tear. And somebody somewhere is suffering and you can alleviate that suffering with your little gesture of sometimes just holding a hand, just helping a person cross the road, singing a song, doing a little bit of jig. That, according to me, is happiness.
And finally, a question regarding something that is very close to your heart. Sir, you were born and brought up in Hyderabad and came to Orissa only after you joined Rourkela steel plant. So what is the thing that impressed you most about Orissa?
Everything, in fact, the people, the place, the language, such a beautiful language, the literature, the culture, and the food, So my favorite is ghanto. But what really swept me off my feet was Jagannatha culture. And I started exploring, then I realized that it is not a culture, it is not a religion, it's not a faith, it's not a doctrine, it's not a credo. It's a consciousness in which all these things are combined, immersed. So I did a lot of research into that, presented papers in international and national seminars and all. And what I find most impressive and which everybody should know is the contemporaneity of Jagannath consciousness. It is as contemporary, as relevant, as important today as it was hundreds of years ago. In fact, every value which I value, I saw its, or which my father taught me, I saw its reflection in Jagannath culture. So I am grateful to Lord Jagannath because I think his blessings are so very important in making me what I am. My entire journey is punctuated with his blessings every day, every hour, every minute, every second.
So friends, that is Ramendra Kumar, a leader, a communicator, a speaker, a storyteller and a kind, caring and compassionate individual, none parallel. Thank you very much again, sir, for this very interesting and fascinating chit-chat.
Thank you. I really enjoyed myself. And finally, Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.